And we got the copyright for it. We sent it to the copyright office, and that was all finalized, and things were looking good. And we were like, okay, we're getting ready.
We could sense the bad thing coming, right?
Right, we can get ready to start pitching it. And then Dan Harmon freaking drops a show on us. Here's the clickbait. Dan Harmon stole our show.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon stole our cartoon.
Please clap.
This is Damian Rivera. He's been my best friend since middle school. We grew up in Bricktown together. We went to high school and then film school, college together at NYU.
We dormed together.
Then
we lived together.
We lived together for
Brooklyn.
like 2 years. And now he's here on this podcast.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we did a bunch of creative shit together. I guess we'll like talk about all that. But like right now you've been doing like cartoons. Do you want to talk?
Yeah, sure. I've been doing cartoons on TikTok, and it's a really noble medium.
What's the name?
I go by Brickhead on TikTok. Is my pseudonym, my Dr. Seuss. And
what's the favorite one you've posted?
Favorite one? I gotta say probably the Sean and Damien ones. Those are my favorite.
Cool.
Like the one of them in high school. That one's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I like that one a lot. But yeah, they're kind of dumb. They're dumb little. The brand catchphrase slogan is stupid fucking cartoons, because that's what they are. They're just kind of dumb little, and they're barely animations.
Yeah.
It's just doodles. But
I like my favorite's probably Woo-Mates.
Woo-Mates is good too.
Yeah, I like Woo-Mates.
Well,
a lot.
we came up with Woo-Mates together.
Yeah.
That one was kicking around since like 2018. Woo-Mates. So
hopefully, whoever edits this, can we just like throw in Woo? I'll send you the link to Woo-Mates.
Woo-Mates. Put Woo-Mates right here.
Yeah,
right here, and then put Sean and Damien. Put that one here.
But play them
at the same time. Yeah, so nobody finds them funny or can understand.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we did a sketch group together. It was called Four Hot Guys.
Four Hot Guys. There were two other guys of the four.
Yep.
They weren't as hot.
It would be funny if it was five guys in the group, though.
Five guys, yeah.
Because then it would be like one of them's not hot.
Right. Well, actually, there technically is five. There's
Andrew Bogan.
Who's a late addition, but he's pretty hot. So
it's funny because we did this sketch group. It was called Four Hot Guys, and we would like meet once a week, and we were posting to our we made a whole brand new channel,
YouTube. Yeah,
and every video flopped, and
horribly. Yeah,
and then we like kind of disbanded. The band broke up, and I ended up posting a couple of the videos to my YouTube.
Amish.
Yeah, the Amish video was like, I think that's almost at like 18 million views.
That's one of my favorite things we ever worked on too. I think it's just like, it came out so good and the writing's good. And I think that really carried too.
I don't know if we'll show it, but I think we could
show it right here.
Yeah. At least the first few seconds of it. But the premise, if we can't show it, is just like, we pick up an Amish guy, and it's clearly like a sketch by the end. But the best thing about that, in the 18 million views, a lot of people are like, this guy's not Amish.
Yeah,
or like fake. It's
right.
like, yeah, no shit. The end is we kill a guy.
Yeah, right. No, that's a great one. Yeah, and if you can't show the video, just put a picture of an Amish guy right here.
Yeah, just so people know what that is.
Just so then, so they can conceptualize what an Amish person is.
The bass playing one, there was like, we play bass outside a girl's window.
And that one was like a low effort one.
Yeah.
Really low. Like we were just like, we didn't know what to do that week. And we were like trying to do one a week. And we were just like, yeah, fucking.
It sucks because we would have been so much more motivated had those views came in.
I know. Well, I think that's why we lost steam, was because everyone was like, okay, why are we doing these?
Yeah,
it's not getting any fucking anything.
But I mean, it was cool in hindsight to get like all that, because most people were like, oh, this needs to be a movie, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
yeah.
And
it got a lot of love, especially for the writing and like the editing and like the actual like cleverness of it.
Yeah.
Not just, because there were the people that are just like, these guys are lying. Like,
or people were like, I can't believe you tased them. That's so fucked up. Like, yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, but the murder was cool.
Yeah, right. The implied murder at the end.
Fucking, yeah. And then, like, I mean, now Rob, one of the guys, he's a fireman. I almost said lifeguard. Fireman.
Well, in a way.
He's a
lifeguard of the opposite element.
Yeah. And I don't know. But do the hate comments, do you get some, like, do you get hate comments? Not really, right?
Not too much. I do get on the ones that you could say are politically charged, even though I don't really try to make anything too political.
Yeah.
But yeah, those will get hate where it's like, but I don't really care.
Yeah,
Hate
you
is-
also have the benefit of being behind the drawings, you know.
Yeah, that helps too.
Not in the like. It almost sounds like you're behind. You're hiding.
Yeah, hiding behind pieces of paper.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I don't really care about hate comments. If anything, like they can be fun to engage with. I feel like sometimes it's fun to just like troll them afterwards, and then people will like your comments and stuff like that.
Right. I don't know. You'll see me like because people will be like fake. I'm like, no shit, dumbass. And then I'm
Yeah,
like,
well,
"Ah,
I don't
kid."
know. Do you think people were like at like the Shakespeare plays, like this is not even believable? Like
Yeah.
I'm supposed to believe this guy just killed him? That's like
Yeah.
clearly confetti.
Fake.
Yeah,
It's like yeah, that's what a play is.
right.
Um,
I think that one though, we did kind of put a little like clickbait hook in the beginning,
Well,
where,
yeah,
where
that-
it's like, oh, we picked up an Amish guy, but like to me, that's still part of the skit. That
did
is
you
the
see
skit.
the video I made with Rose where she like roasts me?
No, I don't know.
Oh, I gotta show. Okay, but I'll do good because I can explain it to you and them. But I made a video. So the bell in my apartment. This is like based on a true story. There's a bell in my apartment, and I Ubered a girl from Tinder over, and I could see on the Uber app she was there. She texted me, "I'm almost there," but then it
When you're
said she was
saying
there.
bell,
What?
oh, you mean like the doorbell?
Yeah. So
I was
no,
like picturing like
so you could buzz people
the Liberty
up.
Bell, like you have
Yeah,
like
no.
I'm like I don't remember seeing that in your apartment. I was
So
just-
for the TikTok clip, there's a bell in my apartment, so you could buzz people up from the lobby. There's like a little, thing. I don't know what else you'd call it, but so the Uber app said she was there, and then, but she didn't buzz up. And sometimes people have trouble figuring out how to buzz. So for the first time ever, I pressed the key, the unlock button, without there being a buzz to the bell. Like so, and I didn't realize it does this, but it gives you a camera view of the lobby. And I saw this girl drunk on the phone. She's like, yeah, he like does YouTube. I don't know, like talking about
Oh,
me.
wow,
I was like,
yeah.
oh no. And I like ended up not listening anymore.
I thought you were gonna say not letting her up, like
No,
like
no.
you didn't like what you heard.
Well, I thought she was talking to a guy, and I was
Right,
like,
right.
oh no, I'm gonna
Right,
lose her
well,
at the
that- yeah.
door. But and I like texted her. I was like, hey, if you don't want to come up, no worries. And she was like, no, I'll be up in a sec. Like, but anyway, I thought it would. Like I exaggerated that, and I had Rose come over, and like she stood in front of the bell and like just roasted me, like
that's
yeah,
funny, yeah.
like I swiped right because I felt bad, all this stuff, and I posted it to TikTok. But there was like a reverse shot of me like watching sadly, and the hook was the same way. It's like you want them to think it's real at first to catch them, but then hopefully the comedy makes them stay.
Right.
But all the comments were like fucking women, like blah blah. I'm like, no, it's just a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they'd be like, yeah, the acting sucks. I'm like, but you just believed it. Like,
right.
and
He's like,
so-
no, I just don't like women actors. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And so, but basically, that was the long-winded way of saying, like, I don't know. The hook could be like lying, but then if they by the end get it's a joke, like that should.
Yeah,
be
I
fine.
guess. I don't even think of the hook as lying as so much as like establishing the premise of the skit at the
Yeah.
very least in a way that hooks people.
Like
Yeah.
a movie, like should function as a lie too, right? In the
Right.
sense that it feels real. It
Right, I
doesn't
guess.
feel-
I suppose. Yeah. Well, like the logic of the movie, no one's going to be like, by the way, everybody watching, this is a film. This is just a plot. Like the
Yeah.
people in the movie at the very least believe that it's a real thing. So it's
Right.
like nobody's going to be like, hey guys, just so you know, nobody thinks this is real. We're all
Yeah.
acting. Okay, back to the scene. But yeah, I
although
don't
that
know.
would be very like Monty Python.
That would be,
style
yeah,
humor.
yeah. I mean, so,
I was watching.
fuck, I'd pay to see it. So.
like Holy Grail the other day. They like see this old guy, and he's like, who's that? He's like, that's the old man from Scene 24. It's like,
In Holy Grail.
Yeah,
That's
like,
one of
that's
my lesser watched Monty. I've seen it. But
I watched it again the other day, and I was like, damn, this is. It's one of those movies where it's just like every line is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so good.
I love Meaning of Life and Life of Brian. Those ones I prefer, but I know a lot of people love.
Yeah, I remember in
Grail.
8th grade, like that's when, because we became friends. Basically, like I remember in 7th grade we both liked the same girl, and we didn't like each other. Probably like partly
Because
because
of
we're
that.
both funny
Because of
and
that.
smart, and like at least to each other. And
Well, I
and we
remember-
liked the same girl. But
I remember the first time I saw you was I was following that girl into like some other classroom. Like we were like, hanging out. Hanging out was like loosely just me like, like following her around like, oh, you're
Yeah, I'll hold your
you're so
books.
pretty. Yeah, And and you were in there and you were like, you were making her laugh or whatever. And I'm like, who the fuck is this kid? You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't like this kid, and because
she's a lesbian now, so
Is she?
We both were.
we were just fucking
yeah, we
walking around in the dark, man.
Yeah,
did
we both
not
lost
know.
that
Yeah,
fight.
Jesus. Did not know that. Well, good for her. Good for
Yeah,
her.
no,
She knows
that's
herself.
awesome.
Now in hindsight, that's probably why she wasn't into me.
Yeah,
So
of course,
It's gotta
yeah.
be. That's only possible reason. But no. And then the second time we met was at Nick Perez's house.
Right.
Yeah, and you were outside, and I was so socially awkward at the time. I was just like, where's my cousin? Because that's, you remember, like that was my into that whole friend group anyway. And I was like, oh, where's Richie? Like Richie isn't here. But you were there, and I remember just being like, oh, it's that kid.
Yeah.
I don't like this kid.
I'm never going to do a podcast with him.
Yeah, I'm never going to be on a podcast. Yeah, in New York City. Then though we met 8th grade, first day of class. Because that was all 7th grade. I think the second time was summer.
Well, you were like tapping your feet at the desk next to me,
Yeah.
doing like music, and I like played along, and then it was like, oh.
Yeah, we were just tapping our feet.
I remember you were really good at guitar, and I was like, yeah, I play a little, and then like, but you were like so good, and like I remember we.
Well, you didn't know I was that good.
No, I knew.
I was good, but I'm not that great anymore.
No, you're great, but like whatever. But like fucking, I remember we never hung out like with me being near a guitar. Only it was because I'm a lefty, so every guitar is upside down to me.
Right.
And I was like, damn, I hope I never have to like play guitar for you, because like I never practiced. I barely could say I played, but eventually I did. I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, me neither, dude. You're blowing this, dude. Yeah. Oh my god.
This is terrible.
No, I'm kidding. But well, yeah, we met in 8th grade, tapping the feet, and it was pretty much like instant connection, you know.
Yeah. And then you bullied me a little bit with the
bullied. Yeah, I bullied. Well, it was like a love bully, you know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know,
with the anti. Well, you
like
want to tell
brotherly bullying. So in 8th grade, you were like super popular, and I was popular in the sense that like I knew, like a lot of people knew me, but I wasn't like friends with a lot of people. Like, you know what I mean? Like
how you know, like
I was like a class clown.
yeah. I was like, how you know the kid that eats his booger? I don't know. Trying to think of some lame thing.
I was like a class clown, and you were a class clown too. And I think that's probably why we were so quickly friends. But and so I guess one day, I don't know, I just was like, oh, I'm starting an anti-Sean alliance or whatever. I think it was like, I remember Christian Lois getting a kick out of it. And just like it started off with like this small seed in our class, but then as the day went on to each period, I expanded the body of this alliance, and it became the anti-Sean alliance. And it was funny. It was really, for me, it was really funny.
At first I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you were playing along at first. And at first it was like more in good humor, I guess.
Yeah.
But as it went on, it just got ugly. It just got very ugly. And but like people were just like, it was like hazing, you know?
Yeah.
Like that guy. Like,
but by the end of the day, I remember suppressing crying. I was like, that's funny, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, people like weren't talking to you, and people were, or like just being dicks or whatever.
Yeah.
And like then girls, I think, started doing it too.
Yeah.
Which is maybe where it like, the arrow pierced your tender heart. It was maybe there because you're, a lover by nature.
Yeah.
But anyway, but then I went home and I made the Facebook group. Or actually, I might have made the Facebook group in school, like on my phone.
Oh, you did. I forgot about the Facebook group part.
And people joined it.
People joined it.
And I made like a whole...
My mom joined it. She's like,
yeah, she's like, fuck this kid. He won't pick up his socks. Crusty socks everywhere. And no, but everyone joined. Like a lot of people joined. And this was like the most popularity I had enjoyed up to that point. So I was kind of riding the lightning a little bit. I was kind of like, right,
just imagine.
I was kind of like, fuck this kid. You know what I mean? I was like started to believe my own dogma by the end of it.
Face paid, like
right.
leading meetings.
We all had shoulder, patches and stuff like that. But I had like a manifesto at the beginning of the Facebook page, like detailing like the whole point of it. And I don't know, it was fucking funny. But then by the end of the day, I think you texted me. You were like, hey man, like,
please stop.
And I was like, all right.
Yeah,
and I made a final post. I was like, we're disbanding the alliance.
We held a meeting. Diplomacy has been reached.
Everybody go back, everybody be nice to Sean now. It was fun. Everyone loved you. So it was more just like tongue in cheek. Like, but
do you remember the time I drew a picture of Jackie Vivaldi and gave it to her?
I do. That was the funniest fucking
It was
thing.
Okay, this girl's super hot. Like, we all like were in love with this girl, and I drew a picture of her and gave it to her, and like in front of all my friends, and like, it was a really bad drawing.
Oh, it was so
and
funny.
They just all laughed in my face.
Oh, it was so
and
funny.
I was like, yeah, see, I knew you'd say that. I knew you'd think it was bad. That's
Weren't we
funny,
on the
right?
floor? Why were we all on the floor? Like, it was one of those periods where it was like lights out and they had a projection on the screen, and we were all like sitting on the floor.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either why. But like there was like an earthquake or something. No, it wasn't that. But Yeah, no, that was funny. It was literally the scene from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, it's exactly
That
that.
drawing.
What reminded me of that was watching that scene the other
Yeah,
day.
I just feel like a single tear runs down your cheek.
Yeah. Like I feel you, Napoleon.
Yeah. But no, that was really funny.
I guess, should we talk about the cartoon now?
I mean, yeah, we could just throw it in there. Why not?
Yeah, well, just because some of the stuff we've been saying. So basically, we created an entire cartoon together.
Well, back then too, we wanted to make a cartoon. We've always wanted to make a cartoon together.
We were making a musical together.
We made a music. Well, yeah,
because South Park really was the inspiration.
South Park was my hero since I was little.
Yeah, I came into them late. I was always Family Guy. That was my thing.
Yeah, and you liked Family Guy, and I liked Family Guy too. Family Guy is great. So we always wanted to do a cartoon. We did the musical. I kind of do want to talk about the musical too, just briefly.
Yeah.
We went to Mr. Stefanelli, our drama teacher. Well, not our drama teacher, but the drama teacher for the school, and we were like, "Oh, like if we did a musical, would the school put it on?"
Yeah.
We wrote and made a whole musical, and he was like really supportive.
He was
guy.
super supportive.
Really,
he like
really supportive.
gave us like all this feedback, what we should do, and we kind of just like,
We were lazy.
yeah, we gave up.
But we wanted to do a musical about North Korea.
It was a guy that wants to get a hair, because like in North Korea,
yeah.
there's like 8 allotted haircuts you're allowed, and I remember the premise was like just one guy wants like a mohawk or something.
Right. It was like it was just like one of those. And I think we were going to maybe like what we were talking about, loosely basing it off of the Great Dictator, that Charlie Chaplin. But I don't think either of us ever watched that. It was just something I Wikipedia'd, and I was like, we're going to base it on this.
Yeah.
Give it artistic, merit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't think we didn't write a song for it.
We went to the library. Remember, we were like, let's go to the library. We did. Our whole creative process has always been like,
let's go somewhere.
Maybe if we're here,
if we go somewhere else, we'll be good. Like, we'll make good art. We've gone to libraries. We've gone to parks, Starbucks. And so we went.
Maybe if we have a whiteboard.
Right.
It's always that, dude.
So we went to that public library, which was a shitty library. And it was like, if anything, it just hampered like the creative instinct when we walked in there. It was very like, I don't know, third worldly. But anyway, we never made it. And and that never happened. But anyway, but we wanted to make a cartoon since those days. And,
which we actually got very far with.
A few times.
Well, the most recent one, I mean.
The most recent one, yeah, we did. We got very, very far with it. But I mean, it was something that we'd kicked around from like forever.
Yeah.
And I've been drawing little cartoon versions of us since since
I heard
high
what
school.
you said to, I think it was Noah, so basically the premise is that Sean and Damien are best friends.
They're best friends. And we were looking for that X factor for a long time. And my whole life, people were always like, whenever I would meet a girl's parents for the first time, they'd be like, "Oh, your name's Damien? Oh, like the Antichrist?" Like as if I'm the Antichrist. And I'm like, well, no.
because that's a movie, right?
Right. The Omen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm me. I'm not, the Antichrist. But, and the letters of my name are...
Isn't that crazy how just one movie can change like a person's...
I know, forever.
Yeah.
And I think that's why my dad did name me that. So he was being a dick when he did that.
Really?
He basically set me up for that forever.
He just saw the Omen.
Right. He's like, dude, that's a cool name, dude.
Sick.
Because I'm the devil. But, no, so, and yeah, they'd always be like, oh, like the Antichrist? I'm like, no. And the letters of my name are 666, like Damien Robert Rivera. Like if you count them, it's just 6 letters in each name. So
that's right.
So I always got that, like my whole life. And so I was like, thinking you were probably one of the earliest ones who were like, oh, maybe he should be the Antichrist in our Sean and Damien show, where it's two idiot best friends.
His dad's the devil, yeah.
Right. You were like, oh, he should be the Antichrist. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't want it to be like powers.
With cartoons, a lot of them, there's like some key to like Rick and Morty. Rick is like this key to an alternate
character.
Yeah, he brings them into all these. And then what was Grimm?
Grimm from the Grimm Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, he's
another one.
He brings them on these adventures.
What's the freaking? I can't even think of the term right now. But we were looking for that kind of, and then I was like, I guess let's make him the Antichrist. So, so this thing that had been snowballing for years and years and years, I think we maybe we were told that we might have an opportunity to pitch it to a network.
Right.
And so we kind of got our shit together and
wrote
put together
first script,
wrote the pilot,
a bunch of episode ideas.
A bunch of episodes. We had tons.
Anti-Sean Alliance was one of them.
One of the episode ideas, and we have tons of ideas. It's basically the premise is Sean is an average stoner in high school just trying to live a normal life, and his best friend, the Antichrist, gets him in all kinds of trouble, and that would be Damien's character. And
The first episode was like the devil goes on vacation and they have a party in the house
at in the basement. Yeah.
and the door to hell opens.
It's like a regular show, but like workaholics, but like, you know, we got some South Park in there. It was really like a lot of, I really think it was such a unique thing where it had a lot of different influences, but we were feeling good about it.
Yes.
Honestly, I was like, oh shit, this might actually be. It felt like we were kind of rounding a corner.
Mr. Jones, their teacher, is like he's like a conspiracy theorist.
Right. So their teacher is Alex Jones, basically Mr. Jones, and he's on to Damien. He's like, he pulls Sean aside. He's like, your best friend's the Antichrist. You know, he's like,
you're crazy.
He's a globalist. You know, and Sean's just like, what? And everyone doesn't believe him, and like the school board's trying to get rid of him, but he's got like tenure or whatever. You know. He's like Crocker. He's like Crocker from Fairly Odd Parents, where he's like.
And one of my favorites too is just like Sean's mom character is like she's always in a because my mom like she's just like likes her phone. I mean I'm addicted to my phone worse than she is, but I would just like thought it'd be funny to like we had she's like in a virtual reality helmet all the time, so she's like neglecting her family, just like confused,
always in it, yeah.
And like so there was like a ton of different fun characters,
a lot of good characters, yeah. Satan, he's like he runs the world geopolitical everything. He runs it from his basement office, which is inspired by our best friend Tyler's basement office.
Right. And he's like, ever since David Dobrik was canceled, like we're losing soul, like we're not getting as many souls, or just like like different. Like you could see, like he's really plugged into these celebrities, Illuminati
it's like
stuff.
even like down to the like most meaningless micro star, like he's got a hand in it or something.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is like his office is the gateway to hell. So, the boys will go in there and fuck around and smoke weed and just like make a run amok of hell and stuff like that. And and we got the copyright for it. We sent it to the copyright office, and that was all finalized, and things were looking good. And we were like, okay, we're getting ready.
We could sense the bad thing coming, right?
Right, we can get ready to start pitching it. And then Dan Harmon freaking drops a show on us. Here's the clickbait. Dan Harmon stole our show.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon stole our cartoon. Okay? And then just take that soundbite and then like put like epic music over it, like put some shots of Dan Harmon, and he's the devil. Like he's the Antichrist. Anyway, no, Dan Harmon's doing a show called Little Demon.
Yeah.
Little Demon. And it's the Antichrist in high school. Basically, is the core premise.
It's like a very similar, which he didn't. I mean, it's obviously been in the works longer than we had the pitch deck.
Longer than we had the pitch deck. I mean,
there's no world where Dan Harmon was like, I don't even know how he would have.
Finds out we're doing it. He's like, oh, you know what, guys?
Yeah, there's no world. He just needed a show that was like Rick and Morty.
And the devil
sells. Another key. He knows how to make a key.
Right.
And it's cool. I mean, if anything, we're in good company.
We are in good company.
Because he's a genius. So
and no insult to Dan. Dan, you're watching this somehow in some world, fight us. Now,
but maybe hire us to write.
Maybe hire us to write. Maybe just give us jobs. But also, I'm going to insult
you. Like, fuck these kids, dude.
Because I was going to start by saying I think our idea's better. I think ours, it's just funner.
Have you watched it?
No, I haven't.
I don't have the heart to watch it.
It makes me sick. But I don't know. I think ours has a lot of like vibrancy. You know what I mean? Like his cartoon, it's another one of those cartoons where it's like a realist, like they're going for like realism in the lighting and the character designs. And I'm like, I just want like goofy little characters, like fun drawings, like colors and stuff.
Now I heard you say to Noah yesterday, like it's pretty. Like, do you think would a company ever make that now? Like, would they?
No, that's what I mean. I think we've lost all pitch power because I think our idea was like pretty novel before, and now it's going to seem like an afterthought. But I mean, I would still love to do it one day in some capacity, like on some medium. And if this one hopefully bombs,
I mean, you
could pitch a better one.
Yeah, we're wishing for his downfall.
No, but Dan Harmon's a legend, and he's a big inspiration when it came to our story, like story writing. I was really studying his story circle and all kinds of stuff like that for a long time.
Yeah.
So it does feel like, we came up with a similar idea, which is cool. But
that's what's interesting to me about like even stand up, because like Mark was telling me, like, and a lot of people say it's like they don't really post clips or burn bits because it takes a while to develop jokes. But for me, when I do have an idea I'm excited about, I have this weird it's just like an anxiety that I'm like, I need to put this out right now because somebody's gonna make it or think of it just like me.
That's how I was feeling about our show, but I just
Yeah.
was like, we had reached the point where it's like, okay, now we just have to like pitch it, and we couldn't even scrape that together. The thing that we thought was an opportunity didn't pan out, so it was like, I don't know,
We met this guy. His name was
something.
Ken, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Ken sounds familiar.
He was like this like really boisterous. He kind of boisterous Asian guy, and he even would say this. He would remind me of the guy Chow from The Hangover.
Oh,
he
yeah.
sold a ton of.
I remembered
drugs.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, he would sell us weed and stuff, but he sold us acid. And so it was funny. We posted to my Snapchat story a picture of this acid.
Right.
And this girl that broke my heart in 5th grade responded, "Oh my God, I'd love to do it."
Really hippy dippy type.
Yes, really hippie.
Just wanted to do acid.
And so she comes like the next day.
She just comes for the acid. Comes all the way to the city.
Well, this is the crazy thing.
Yeah.
I have sex with her the night before we go hang out. She
That's
sleeps
right.
over.
Right.
I'm so pumped. I'm like, it was awesome. The next day, I'm like, we go to do this acid in the park. What? Sorry. We go to do this acid in the park. And it was weird because after post having sex with her, I'm like, what am I supposed to like? Am I supposed to like flirt with her still?
Right.
And,
Do I have
like,
to
she
be
was
interested?
Cool. She
Yeah.
was like, I was the only one overthinking this. But then we're coming up on this. First of all, we did the acid and it was bitter.
Yeah, it had a taste. And I was like, oh, is
not
it supposed to have a taste? Yeah, I
never
remember
supposed
being
to.
like, oh, it's kind of like metallic. I was like,
Yes.
is that supposed to be a thing? And we were all like, yeah, I guess
And
so.
I remember coming up on acid and being like I just felt really strange and uncomfortable and uneasy.
Yeah.
And later we learned that it was called N-bomb. When acid's bitter, it's like a very bad. It's like potential.
salts.
It's poison. It's
like kind of bath salts.
It says like spit it out immediately. You could die from this. Like
Right.
it's fatal.
Well, we felt weird, but we also had a good time. We had a
You
good
guys
time.
had a good time. I did not have a good time.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I wasn't. It wasn't a bad trip, but it was just kind of like confusion. And
Right,
like,
right. It was disorienting.
And you and our other friend were like walking around like saying
It's
the
zeros and ones.
Yeah, and you were like, it all makes sense. And so this
And it
girl,
did make sense at the time. Everything made sense. I was like, oh my God, I figured it out. It's all zeros and ones. Anyway, yeah.
And this girl, so she ended up like, we were in Central Park.
She had a good time too.
Yeah, but she was like missing. And we were like, where the hell is she? We were in the middle of like the Central Park woods.
Yeah, yeah.
And you guys were like, "Oh, everything was in balance. We're going to find her."
Yeah.
And Tucker was he was our babysitter. And he was like, you guys are on acid. Like, she's lost.
And we're like, and yeah, I remember being like, no, we'll find her. It's okay. I was so zen.
Yeah.
It was a really good time.
And then
yeah.
all of a sudden, she just appears
And
out
we
of
were
the
like,
trees.
oh, I told you.
And Tucker
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's a little weird, actually.
Yeah,
He's
Tucker, he
sober.
became a believer. He's
Yeah.
like maybe I should start listening to these guys. He starts writing down what we're saying. He's
Yeah.
like he's the writer of the First Testament of our new religion. Yeah, remember we were saying, oh, we're always climbing. Did you notice that? And
Oh,
it's because we're
yeah.
going up hills. Because we're literally climbing. I was like, everything's a climb until you get to the top. And then when we got to the top, we were like, see.
But then
And
you were
Tucker
like,
was like-
no, there's still more to be climbed.
Right,
And it was
right.
like, no, I think this is the top.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the highest part of the park.
The point is we were proven right.
Yeah,
when
you
she
were.
reappeared, and
You guys were zenned out.
It was zen. It was pretty good. But yeah, and then the next day, you were like, oh, that actually might have been like bath salts, kind
No,
of.
it's called N-bomb.
Yeah, but N-bomb, and when we Googled it, it was like, oh, it's like basically like bath salts or whatever. It's like just chemical
And I
soup.
texted the guy. I was like, "Yo, it was bitter." He's like, "Yeah, my bad, bro." Like this whole, and I
Yeah,
never texted
I was
him
pissed.
again.
I was pissed the next day.
Well, he was just like some random drug dealer that would just
Right, but I was just like, holy shit, we could have died. You know, granted, it was a good time, but honestly, after that, I was never the same. No,
Yeah.
it did kind of fuck with me for a long time, though. Like, I still had like anxiety and all kinds of shit. Like, it went from a Zen thing to like, oh, it was kind of fucked up. But
You had 2 bad trips.
I did have 2 bad trips. Well, we used to do mushrooms, and the first time we did mushrooms was cool. That was really cool. It was a bunch of us in a dorm room, and it was like 5 of us, right? And remember we all went in the bathroom on mushrooms, and we were vaping in the bathroom, and it was like smoky.
Yeah.
And Matt is our big, tall Asian friend.
Yeah.
And he looked like a giant. Like he looked like a mountain of a man with like the vape smoke around him, like
Yeah.
clouds in the sky.
But he was sitting in the tub.
He was
at
sitting in
one
the
point.
tub. He was sitting in the tub, and I just remember being like, he's gigantic.
The weird
Like,
thing
it's
about
like-
mushrooms too is like this is a bathroom. We don't know who the people that because it was like a buddy we barely knew at the time.
yeah, it was gross.
And it was his bathroom, but for whatever reason on mushrooms, like you're not grossed out by like.
No, well,
there-
my bad trip came from though being grossed out. my bad trip the second time was like the lights came on in Weinstein dorm, and it's just so, it was Tucker and Joe's room. It was so gross in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I literally believed that I was like a drug addict and everyone was a figment of my imagination. And I was like, this is where I really live. Like I live in this weird
all this trash.
place.
I
Yeah,
must
with this
also
trash.
be trash.
Right. Yeah. I'm a trash person. But no, but
In the bathroom.
in the bathroom though, I didn't. That was a positive trip.
It was a stranger's towel, and I remember looking at the fibers, and there was like little electric, like it looked like electricity was going through each fiber, and I remember just taking the towel and going like all over my face with it.
Yeah, and it's just some dude's balls on your face. Just so.
I was like,
Yeah, you're like,
God,
what is that? What's that musk? It's beautiful.
and then you guys ended up leaving the bathroom, and I remember, okay, so it was the day before my birthday.
You were in there for a while. You went in there for a while.
The lights were off, and I had music playing.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just crying, and I remember it looked like a chasm. Like I was just like this.
Yeah. You
and
had
I
an
was
ego death.
Yeah, it was, and I was listening to classical music, crying, like, but in like a way where I was like, yes, like this is beautiful. And I remember coming out of the bathroom, and it was 12. I remember saying to you guys, like, I feel like I was just reborn.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was 12 midnight on my birthday, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna. And I remember just laying on the floor and like, and that was the end of my trip. But
Yeah. Oh, but and then there was the pumpkin. There was like a little decorative pumpkin because it was around Halloween on the table.
Yeah.
And we were all and someone was like, "Oh, is this pumpkin real?" And we're all on shrooms. And then someone was like, "No, that's a fake pumpkin." And then someone else was like, "No, it's a real pumpkin." And then we all kind of like fixated on this pumpkin, and like tension started to rise. Like it became very like. We had to know.
Primal,
yeah, it was very primal. It was like a bunch of apes like in a jungle somewhere, and freaking somebody
Where
was
they
like,
find the monolith.
yeah, yeah. And somebody was like, it was getting hysterical, and somebody was like, get a knife, get a kitchen knife from the kitchen, and someone comes in with like a cleaver and freaking stabs this, and it was like a violent like catharsis of like we stabbed the pumpkin open, it had seeds, and we were like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay,
It's a
cool.
real pumpkin.
Yeah, and then there was the lady eating across the. Like
I forget. But
the
that sounds
dorm,
funny.
the dorms wrapped around.
Yeah, so you could see.
You could see the dorms on the other side of this, like
right, like windows, like a prison. You could see the guy
across,
yeah.
and you would always see naked chicks that way too.
Right.
You'd come home from class and be like, oh.
Not like we didn't want it.
Yeah, no, it was literally like you would walk into your apartment and be like, "There's a naked person across."
Or you'd see a dude jerking off. Too.
Or a dude jerking off. That was my favorite, honestly, because I was like, does this guy really not think? What is it? The one I'm thinking of is his desk was next to the window.
I remember this,
and he's
yeah.
just cranking down, and I'm like, and his lights are on,
Yeah.
and it's night, and I'm like, what do you think is the?
I think people just kind of become so comfortable in their environment they forget that.
I guess.
Because I'm the type that would do something like that. I feel like.
I don't even think you are, but maybe yeah, you might make the mistake of forgetting, but I don't know this guy.
He might have been like an exhibition,ist like he
I don't
liked.
even, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, you'd always see naked chicks that way, and that was dope. And then you see the guy jacking off. That was even doper.
Yeah.
but this time we were on shrooms, so we were like just like tripping balls.
Yeah.
And we saw a girl across the way, larger girl, and just housing a submarine sandwich. Just standing at her dresser.
Yeah.
So not like at her table. That's what made it funny, I think. It wasn't like at a table. She's standing at a tall dresser with the sub on top, and she was inhaling it. And we were on mushrooms, like dying, laughing. It was just funny, and
But sad.
Funny because it's sad.
Yeah.
But isn't some humor funny because it's? I think
Yeah, that's
a lot
true.
of humors. But anyway, it was dope, and that was my favorite. Actually,
One of the
whole
coolest
thing.
things. I just remember. So I was looking out the window at the skyline on mushrooms, and I think the coolest but weirdest thing to me, like I don't know how it was possible, was it felt like the view, like everything was getting lower, and I was seeing more of the buildings that were like as if the building we were in was rising out of the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was just watching the landscape. Like I'm seeing parts of the building I shouldn't see.
Right.
And I remember being like, how. This is my imagination. Like I was, that was the coolest thing to me. But
Was that when you went? Wait, was that when you went?
no,
on
that
a
was
walk?
when we were in the dorm room. There was another time we did mushrooms, and I like just left.
You went on a
everybody.
walk. Yeah, that was the time I had a bad trip.
Yeah, and I
But it was
walked
weird
to
because
Times Square.
It was weird because without you there and me having a bad trip, and this was our freshman year, and we're best friends. So I was
Yeah.
just like, I was like, oh man, like if Sean was here, I'd feel better.
Yeah, sorry
No,
about
no.
that.
Well, you didn't. Obviously, how would you know? I was having a good time before that.
Yeah,
It was fine.
I remember I was outside the dorm room, and I looked up at the windows of our dorms, and you guys were like banging on the window. It was like gorillas. Like you were like, and I was like, oh. And then my mom called me, and I'm on shrooms.
Oh yeah.
And the one weird thing about like psychedelics happened to me a couple times where it was like, you can't form thoughts or words. Like and then I rode in the elevator later with that kid, with our buddy AJ, and he was talking to me, and I was like, yeah, it's like, yeah, like I could not think of words. It was so weird.
I broke up with my girlfriend at the time that night because she called, and I was like, I don't even remember what I said. I just remember and Matt was babysitting me at this point because I was already in bad trip mode.
Yeah.
And I remember hanging up and being like, what did I say? And he was like, I think you just broke up with your girlfriend, dude. And I was like, oh no. Like I was like, I didn't want that. Like
that's amazing.
I didn't even want to.
You're like, what even is a relationship?
Right. I think maybe subconsciously I knew shit was headed in a bad direction. But yeah, man, he was babysitting me, and I remember he was like
not doing a good job.
No, he really did though.
No, he was.
I honestly, he if he wasn't there, I don't even know, man. He really saved me, and I'll always be grateful for Matt for that. But
there was kids at our school that took shrooms and jumped off the building because they thought they could fly.
Right, but Matt really, but as he's talking me down, in my mind, I had this like feedback loop where I'm literally like, I genuinely believed I was like. Everything I would think would come out of his mouth. So it felt to me like I was creating Matt to talk me down from this. And he was talking to me and he'd be like, dude, it's just this. And I'm like, yep. And then you're going to say, yep. And then you're going to say, and he would say something and I'd be like, yep. This all makes sense. And then I was like, and then when you came back, that's when you came back, I was like, I don't know, it was reassuring when you came back, but I also was just like, oh.
It was weird. So I come back and Matt is in the dorm, in the hallway of the dorm. And it was just weird. It just felt so weird. I remember he came out and he was like, yo, like Damien is like, and I'm like, felt like I was in a dream because I was like, where is everybody? And I was like, why are you talking to me so loudly in this hallway, but nobody else is here?
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, come on in. I went into his room, which we weren't even in his room, and you were just like curled up, and you were in his bed, and you were like, Robin Williams, McDonald's, Louis C.K.
Was that really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think because those were all figments of my imagination.
Yeah, you told me later, you were like, I thought I made those things up.
Yeah.
And so you were just listing things you were amazed that you made up.
Yeah, I was grateful in a way. I was like, wow, it's like, even if I contributed nothing with my life, I've created the universe out of my brain.
I almost think the one way you can look at it is like it's in your brain, but I don't even think that. I think if anything, the way to look at that is like we are all connected through like one soul or one. Like I think that's maybe what you're picking up on is like we are all.
Yeah, as life goes on, I mean, I think we're all an expression of the same consciousness.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's all a manifestation of the same kind of raw, whatever being.
Right.
We're all like holes in a blanket, with the same light coming through us, But
well said.
But freaking, I don't know, man. That I don't like the psychedelic shit. I don't do, me.
No, I wouldn't do it anymore.
You know me. I don't
either.
even smoke weed. I don't even drink. I'm like sober now a year for drinking, and I haven't smoked in 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Actually, probably 6.
Yeah, you did
now.
a total 180 from like a place.
Yeah. We did a lot of drugs in college, which was fun. It was fun. It was a good time. I honestly wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, your hat
people.
says "Don't trip."
Don't trip.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, but
zeros and ones, baby.
Right, there it is, man. That's a 1. That's a 1. This is a 0.
Yep. That's what you guys were doing.
But no, it was pretty cool.
I remember it was Vinay. He was wearing a shirt that made him look like a mime. It's like black and white stripes.
He always had that striped shirt.
I forgot about that. That's the one thing. That's the one thought I had on acid. Like,
the rest of you were offline.
Yeah, I'm just like, Vinay looks like a mime
you're
right
like,
now.
Vinay's a mime.
That's pretty deep. It was a pretty deep acid thought.
Yeah, you're like, wow, that was really deep of me. You're like, Vinay's a mime. Yeah. No, drugs are cool until they're not.
Yeah, I know.
I would say don't do drugs, honestly, in general.
Yeah.
I would tell kids, especially if you're young, don't do them, man. It's just like you're polluting your brain. You're such a beautiful, clean slate when you're a kid, and then like it's like just life is just.
I think it's cool to get that glimpse of like. Because I like that when it's good, it's good. Like
yeah.
There's like a little bit that really removes. I think what it does do is like. Because it's very easy to say, "Oh, we're on a tiny rock floating through space," blah blah blah. Like, but to feel it, is different. Thing.
Yeah.
And I think
you feel it, like you feel the momentum of the world.
But in a way,
spinning.
that's peaceful.
Yeah, it can
sometimes.
For me, it's like, ooh, I don't like that. Sometimes I still think about it, where I'm just like, oh.
Because I remember walking around on the college campus, like, oh, we're just all racing towards this. Like,
I thought you were going to say we're all racists. I was like, gosh, on Critical Theory on the podcast. So,
yeah, like that's a weird shrooms. I didn't have that. But no, we're all like racing towards this like weird like. And again, it's very easy to be like, oh, we're all trying to get this piece of paper, but like to really feel it on like a spiritual level is something that
we're just like a buckshot, like flying through space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just makes me. I'm like worried where we're gonna impact. You know, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like thinking about that stuff. To me, I get like.
Yeah,
Ugh, skeeves me out.
Yeah.
I don't like thinking about that. But yeah, or I'll get like I remember thinking like in Central Park, I'm like, wow, we're just like in a VR chat. Like I looked up at this New York City skyline and it just has this like falsity to it. Like it looks like a projection, looks like a hologram. Like,
yeah.
fucking,
I didn't build these buildings. How do I know they're real?
right. It just, but I don't know. It just like it felt.
I can't touch that glass. Like
Especially
on
in
the other
Central
side.
Park, like it felt like we were just in a server.
Yeah.
Like it was the
It's a
lobby.
beautiful server though.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's what else are you gonna do, right? But
We are on a server, dude. We're gonna die and be like, all right, so
take the helmet off.
yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to like play again though. It's like, all right, this time you could play with cheat codes. You can have sex with everybody.
All the men, all the men,
you could
all the
want.
women.
Only men though. It's
Only
like-
men. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're still figuring out the bug. It's like,
Right, it's like a glitch in the.
will I be gay at least in the game?
No, you're just painfully straight, and you just have to experience it. You're like, I don't
Yeah.
really, it's their thing, not mine.
Cheat codes.
Right,
Try it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Real quick, plug whatever you want to plug.
All right. So, Brickhead, I'm at Brickhead on TikTok, but with a 1 because some asshole got the
Instead of an
original.
I.
Yeah, instead of an I, Brickhead, but yeah. And stupid fucking cartoons on there. You can follow me on Instagram at Brickhead also, but with the 2 R's because some other asshole got
Yeah, different.
some
same guy.
different asshole got the Brickhead one on there. Yeah, man, I just make cartoons and Sean and I do some shit sometimes. You could also see some of our stuff on Sean's page, like Breaking Amish. I had a hand in that and other skits. 4 Hot Guys. I mean, if you
Yeah.
want to dig that shit up.
We got some music on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, we have a song together, which is
2.
funny. We do? We have 2 songs?
Yeah, the one me, you, and Tyler did in my basement.
Oh, yeah. And that's actually, I like that one a
I got
lot.
a like on that one yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I think somebody went to look for that Young Gravy song.
They went to
and
look for something else, and they're like, I guess this is okay. But that's a good one. And yeah, I'm making an album right now. I'm working on an album, but like honestly, don't hold your breath because this motherfucker's taking way longer than I wanted it to. Yeah. Oh, and my music's on Apple Music and Apple Music, Spotify, not YouTube yet, but wherever you listen to music, my music's up there, also under the name Brickhead. So
Cool.
find me there.
Hell yeah. Love you. Thanks
Love you
for doing
too.
the pod.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, and here's to many more creative pursuits.
Yep.
Cool.
Cheers.